Today's video marks the start of my brand new puzzle series where I'm going to review a bunch of different puzzle brands. So as you can see behind me, I have a load of puzzles on my bed. Now all of these have been borrowed from the log cabin or puzzle friends that I've made. And one of the things I've noticed as my puzzle obsession has grown is there are a lot of different puzzle brands out there. And it can be a little bit overwhelming to know which puzzle brands are worth it, which puzzle brands are not worth it, you know, which ones are going to have that really good puzzle experience and which ones just aren't really that exciting. So what I've got is I've got puzzles from all sorts of brands, kind of some that we've heard of and some you may never have heard of before. And over the next few weeks, I'm going to complete these puzzles and do a bit of a review on how I felt, or how my opinion on those puzzles. Some of the things I'm going to be looking at are the piece quality, the cut and fit, the value for money, the artwork and illustrations, and any kind of extra exciting personality bits that brand has. So at the end of the review, I'm going to put all the information together where we can kind of see which puzzles come out on top and which puzzles probably not really worth it in my opinion. Today we're going to start with a fan favourite, EeBoo. Now, EeBoo are known for their kind of gorgeous artwork and their super smooth finish. But to me, I never heard of EeBoo before kind of 2 months ago. I've only ever completed one EeBoo puzzle and it was beautiful, very colourful. First impressions were, wow, this is a pretty cool puzzle. The pieces were a bit different, something I'd never really done before. So I'm quite excited to start with the EeBoo puzzles. So a little bit about the brand. It's a woman-owned, family-run company. It's known for its eco-friendly materials. Puzzle artwork is usually commissioned from independent illustrators, often matte and kind of thick pieces. They normally do like 1,000 or 500 piece puzzles, and they come in kind of square and circle shapes. So today we're lucky enough to have two EeBoo puzzles to look at. We've got Fall in Brooklyn and Astrology. Now, my first impressions of the boxes are they're really colourful, really busy and like quite pretty pictures. So very exciting and eye-catching and look like they're going to be quite fun puzzles to put together. The box itself is pretty sturdy, good quality. Like I said, these are borrowed puzzles, so they've seen a bit of mileage, and they're still looking in a really good condition. So in the box, it comes with all the pieces and a little poster as well. This poster looks really cool. And then on the back, it's kind of got a catalogue of some of their other puzzles, which is really cool to see. Pulling out some of the pieces, they look really good quality. Like I said, shiny kind of matte finish, thick cardboard, doesn't really bend, doesn't look like it's got any damage or peeling, and I'm assuming that this puzzle's been done a couple of times. The colours on the pieces are really vibrant, very bright and exciting. Smells like puzzle pieces as well. So far, my first impression is very good. The pieces look great, the puzzle cut looks interesting and a bit unique, so all that's left now is to start puzzling.
Alrighty, here you can see me pulling out all the edge pieces. I do have quite a limited puzzle space, so I do tend to keep all the pieces inside the box and then just pull out what I'm using at the time. This puzzle shape's quite unique as it is a big square, so it's not the traditional rectangle shape. EeBoo do tend to have the either square or circle puzzles, which make that quite unique feature. How I tend to tackle puzzles is I'll pull out the pieces or the colours or patterns that stand out most to me. And in a puzzle like this where it's quite dark and busy, I'll pull out whatever's brightest first. So you can see the sky came together nice and quickly. And then some of those colourful patches like the bookstore and then the windows. So the windows were a little bit more difficult as there were quite a lot to work with. And the image is quite busy, which makes it a little bit challenging. However, there is a lot of patterns and a lot of colours going on, which makes it easy to kind of figure out where it goes and comes together okay. I wouldn't say it's a great puzzle for beginners unless you really like busy images. The pattern or the piece shape was pretty exciting, quite different. There were a few false fits, which was a bit frustrating, but because the patterns were so busy, you could kind of figure out pretty quickly if it went in the wrong space. But overall, I think this puzzle was super, super fun to complete, really colourful, really beautiful, and as you can see here, it's just such a cool image, and highly recommend for anyone that likes busy and colourful images to choose a puzzle like this. The puzzle pickup challenge was a success. The pieces stayed together nicely and was really easy to put back down. Next we did the astrology puzzle. Again, had the same strategy, pulled out all the edge pieces, built that, and then found the colours that stuck out the most to me, which was orange and pink. There was quite a lot of orange sections throughout the puzzle. You can see in that bottom corner, and then some of the writings and areas throughout. Same with the pink. Now, you could kind of tell the difference in the orange, different kind of colours of oranges and pinks, and so that created quite a lot of different islands throughout the puzzle. This puzzle had a lot of writing in it, which made it a little bit more challenging. As you kind of see here, I've got lots of different sections going at once. One thing I did notice about this puzzle was that there was quite a bit of wear and tear on the back of the pieces. Now, like I said, this puzzle was borrowed from the log cabin, and because it's an EeBoo puzzle, I imagine that it's been borrowed quite a lot of times. So the more puzzles completed, you can kind of start to expect to see some wear and tear. So you can definitely tell this was a well-loved puzzle. However, it didn't impact the overall puzzling experience, as the front of the puzzle, the image was still stuck on really nicely. The matte glossy finish is still there. So overall, the puzzling experience wasn't impacted too much by the peeling pieces at the back. Again, this was quite a busy image, making it a little bit more difficult for beginner puzzlers. However, it was lots and lots of fun to do.
Okay, so I completed the 2 EeBoo puzzles, and now it is time to put in the ratings. So for number 1, piece quality, I gave that a 7 out of 10. So with the clean cuts, the thick and sturdiness of the pieces was really positive. However, there was minor wear and tear on the back, which dropped it down a few points. Next, we've got the cut and the fit. So I again rated that a 7 out of 10. It has a snug fit. There were a few false fits, which was a little bit annoying, and minimal kind of click satisfaction when you put the pieces together. Next, we've got the printing and artwork. No surprises, that got a 9 out of 10. So the vibrant colours, the busy imagery, just really cool pictures to puzzle. Next was the build experience, so I gave that an 8 out of 10. Again, really fun to build. The imagery, the overall quality was really up there. The value for money, so in New Zealand these puzzles go for about $30 to $50 depending on the size and the kind of any sales you get. So I'd say for the quality and the value, they can be really quite affordable. So I put that as an 8 out of 10 as well. Now for brand personality, I also gave that an 8 out of 10. Now I thought it was quite cool that the puzzle came with a poster with a bit of a catalogue on, and also the fact that it's like quite sustainably run, it's woman owned, family run, all of those kind of things I think made it quite kind of gave it points for personality. Now the other thing I want to mention is that there was quite minimal puzzle dust, which was another factor that made the overall experience quite good. Okay, so the overall score for the EeBoo puzzles is 47 out of 60, which I can't really compare to much else because this is the first review I've done, but I think that's pretty good. Some final thoughts I have before I wrap up this video is I just want to go through the strengths and weaknesses and who I reckon this puzzle is best for. So some of the strengths are the beautiful artwork, the thick pieces, great matte finish, high quality random cut, and the sustainable production. So those tick quite a lot of boxes. So some of the weaknesses are some people prefer grid cut over random cut, and some people, especially beginner puzzles, might find the images a little bit too busy. Now overall, who I think this puzzle is best for is probably your intermediate puzzlers, people that like random over standard grid cut, fans of bright illustrated artwork, and eco-conscious buyers. So that brings us to the end of our puzzle brand review episode 1, I guess we could call it. So overall, I would say the EeBoo puzzle is awesome. I'm definitely going to add some EeBoo puzzles to my wish list. If you've done any EeBoo puzzles, comment below the name of them or any images of them complete, and I'd love to see which EeBoo puzzles you've done. In our next video, or our episode 2 of the brand review series, we're going to look at a Kiwi-owned brand, and which I'm really excited to start puzzling. See you next time.